Hi everyone, my name is Aditya. I'm from Rocheston and I'm sitting here today with Avantek and we're going to cover a few topics on cybersecurity in Malaysia. Okay, good question. So, what essentially is cybersecurity? It's protection of our data. Now, every single one of us, whether it's an individual or a corporation, we are dealing with some form of data. As an individual, we are dealing with our credit cards online, online transactions. Everything has become online. Financial corporations, they deal with customer data, their own private network data, the intellectual property. All of that is very, very important to protect. So this is why cybersecurity is important whether you're an individual or a corporation, because if that data leaks, your entire life, your intellectual property, everything is in the hands of someone else. So this is why implementing cybersecurity is a very, very good step, no matter if you're an individual or an organization. Okay, so technology and cybersecurity and threats to cybersecurity go hand in hand. As technology increases, the threats related to cybersecurity also increase. Why? Because the number of devices that can be attacked and compromised also increase. So the more devices that are connected to a network, it's the more number of access points that someone has into your home or into your network. So again, with work from home and COVID regulations changing, because more people are working remotely, more devices are connected to the internet, cybersecurity threats automatically increase because it's more points of contact for an attacker. Okay, so that's an interesting question. See, I don't want to point out individual companies that have faced cyber attacks, but I'll give you a few statistics. I think towards the end of Q2, Malaysia as a whole was facing about 84 million cyber attacks a day. And among all of the APAC countries in 2022, Malaysia ranked 1 in terms of the number of cyber attacks on a daily basis. Now there are multiple reasons for this, but we'll get into that in the following questions. Okay, so this brings me back to what some of the topics I covered in my last question about the number of attacks in Malaysia. So the government is aware of this, and now with COVID, the entire workspace world has changed as well. It's no longer a centralized control environment. So the government has taken note of this. So they are trying to implement, they are putting out a lot of tenders now. They're trying to implement foreign protocols, something called NIST standards, which basically has frameworks and guidelines for different levels of your network, whether you're implementing your servers, you're implementing password policies, it doesn't matter. You follow NIST frameworks, they outline every single thing inside these protocols. So the government is very, I would say, they're trying to pursue this implementation on a very rapid basis because this helps with improving cybersecurity. Another big major problem with cybersecurity is ransomware. Ransomware is on the rise. In fact, it is one of the most profitable cyber attacks that currently exist. It's almost as profitable as the entire drug industry, and it's very safe because no lives are lost and they can be sitting anywhere in the world. Now, to counter this, the first thing the government can do is general awareness for individuals. Because you can have a multi-million-dollar cybersecurity setup, you can have great policies, you can spend millions and millions of dollars to have a network that's truly unbreakable. But if you have an employee who is sitting authenticated behind all of these protections, they click on something they're not supposed to click on, your entire network gets compromised. So yes, even training of individuals is very, very important. Okay, so where we come in is, what we've done is we've tried to, one, make it a lot more fun, integrated and simple to learn cybersecurity. And we've also modernized it to meet the current day requirements. Now you start talking about, previously you had routers, switches and all of these physical devices. Nowadays networks no longer work on that. It's more of software as a service, right? So all of this has been replaced by software. All of this has been replaced by a cloud. So we've tried to incorporate these new technologies and prepare cybersecurity engineers for this altered or new reality of actually securing new networks. So that's how we differ from what is currently offered on the market. We've updated it to include all of these cloud-based technologies that people are expecting for you to work, and we packaged it all in a single platform and product. Okay, so we have two methods. So one, we are pursuing in partnership with Avantek to educate college students across Malaysia with the skills required to build competent cybersecurity engineers that will be able to protect Malaysian companies in the future. Second, we also have another initiative which is to educate the general public on the basics of cybersecurity. So all of us use devices. How do you use your mobile phone securely? How do you set a good password? How do you properly use all of the security protocols that companies such as Microsoft, Facebook offer you in terms of two-factor authentication, length of passwords and all of that? if you are using a computer, how do you securely download software? Some basics that is not technical but is generally very, very good knowledge for everybody to have. We are again rolling out with Avantech for the general public. And this goes into an overall safer, more cyber aware population. We have the RCCS program, which is basically a general cybersecurity awareness program that we're running with Avantech that teaches the general public on the basic tips and tricks that they can follow to stay safe and use their devices safely, and how to identify something that can be like phishing or someone who's attempting to steal their credit card information, and what to do in such instances. The public can play a huge role, because again, if, as I said, you can have great networks, you can have different protocols in place, but the human being at the end of the device will always be probably the weakest point in the entire chain. So educating your general public itself will make a big impact when securing your country as a whole, because they'll be more aware on what they should or shouldn't click on, whether their funds are going abroad or they're sending information abroad, all of that. Okay, so based on the initiatives I've been seeing from the government, I think Malaysia is definitely on the right track. They are trying to implement a global standard that will be internationally recognized, and the public can stay ahead by continuing to implement some of the things that we constantly talk about general password safety policies, your two-factor authentication, and continuously monitoring and using a common sense based approach on the data that they receive. One good tip for the public to understand is, if something sounds too good to be true as an offer, it probably is.